What's up, yo? Gage Benson, aka Uncle Gagey. Welcome back to my channel. Right now, I'm doing a 100+ mile review in the new Saucony Hurricane 24s. Just to get you up to speed, these are my first running shoes ever. I've only been running since June 2nd, 2024. That happened very sporadically. I just randomly started running one day, and then by mid to late July, which I purchased these my first run with these was July 26th. I was already running 5Ks and purchasing my first running shoe. One of the main features that I pointed out when I first got these was the spring in the shoe that it had, and I just want to reiterate that it still has plenty of spring left in the shoe, even 100+ miles in. I'm at 106 to be exact. As far as speed, I've run. Now, when I first started, I could barely run an 8-minute, 30-second mile. Now I'm running up to sub 6 minutes and 30-second miles, and I ran them in these. So as far as like speed goes, pretty decent shoe for speed, but what would I know, right? Also, long distances, I got a half marathon I'm practicing for, and I ran 13.2 miles a week and a half ago. It took me an hour and 57 minutes, 14 seconds to be exact. Just under a 9-minute pace, probably about like an 8-minute, 50-second pace, or just around there. And these shoes held up fine. My feet were pain-free, especially for slamming all the pavement. Running, it was over a 1,200-foot elevation gain and loss. So running up and down the hills and my foot slamming pavement over and over again. My feet held up well. Not much pain. Only one toe was sore from having a somewhat long toenail that was digging in the front of the shoe, which was on the left foot. But other than that, I think that had to do with trimming my toenail issues, and that was partially why I ran my half marathon practice, is to kind of like take some notes, and that was one of my notes, is to make sure I trim my toenails. But anyways, moving on. Some pros and cons about running in wetness. So wet pavement, you know, I'm very cautious running on wet pavement. I don't want to slip and fall and hurt myself. These little grips, I wouldn't even know what to call these, but these grips that they have on the bottom of the shoe, especially this one in the middle, work really well. Although I was cautious and scared of maybe slipping on wet pavement the few times I trained and ran a race in the rain, I've never once slipped, not even a little bit, with these grips on the shoe. Now, with that being said, these are not close to being waterproof, not even a little bit. I'm so new, I don't even know if they make waterproof running shoes or not. I'm assuming they do, but these are not it. Your feet will get wet just running through tiny little puddles. Like, it doesn't even have to be necessarily be raining out at the time. Your feet will get wet. With that being said, 100 miles in, the cushion's holding up really well, right? And I would say that's probably my favorite feature of these as far as when I'm training. You know, I don't want to be banging up on my feet when I'm putting all the miles in training. But to be honest, I've raced in these. I've raced a 5K and I raced a 10K in these. My 10K time was like sub 47, so somewhere in the 46. I would say, like, I've run good races in these, but I prefer to use my Saucony Omni 21s, and I can show you real quick. Right? These are my Omni 21s. I plan on doing a video with them, but just to compare and contrast, these are the ones I like racing in, and the reason why is I personally, it's a little less cushion and a little bit more dense, so it's not as soft, and I prefer to race in these versus these. These are almost a little too bouncy, to be honest. Great for training, but as far as racing, I found that I prefer and love to race in these, and I love to train in these. So that's where I'm at. I'll do a review on these once I put more miles into them. But those are my two running shoes. And so some of my cons, and there are not many cons, is they're not waterproof, and sometimes they're almost too soft. And by being too soft, I mean I prefer not to race in them. Pros, pretty good grip on the bottom for when it is wet out. Cushioned, as I say, is too soft. Soft for like training, and you're putting in all those miles day in and day out. Good for fast runs. Like I said, I've run, now that I've been training for 4 or 5 months now, I've run up to like sub 6:30, and to kind of mile, and to kind of give you a engagement or judgment on that. I was running 8-minute and 30-second miles when I started, probably running just sub 8-minute miles when I first got these. So with all the miles put in, I've also gotten better, but I've also been able to run fast in these. And as I said previously, I've also been able to run up to 13 miles pain-free in the Saucony Hurricane 24s. Shoelaces are holding up well. They fit snug to my feet, and that's basically all I got to say about the Hurricane 24s. As far as stuff goes on the bottom, even with the soft cushion, not much has been able to puncture into these shoes. So I don't have any rocks puncturing into the foam at the bottom. So the foam at the bottom of the shoe is holding up well. I'll give it that. And yeah, that's basically it. These are really good shoes. I would honestly purchase another pair and maybe a better color, because I like color, and black is just plain, although it matches with everything. But for now, like I said, I'm only 100 miles in. I plan on running over 400 miles in these, or until they give out what happens if that happens before or after. But yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful in your next purchase. And just so you know, like I said, I'm a very brand new runner. I've only been running for 4 or 5 months, so I don't know. These are the first shoes I've ever gotten, and the Saucony brand is the only brand I've ever ran in, because I ran in these and the Omni 21s, as I was showing you before. So if you think that helped you, like and subscribe, and watch some other videos to follow along my journey. My half marathon is 3.5 weeks away, so we got some crunch time training to do. See you later.